Hi, Six Snipes here, opening up with the fact that you have seen the thumbnail, clicked on the title, you know what video you're watching. So if I get one fucking comment about how this isn't Minecraft, this leak got dropped on my server about half a week ago, and evidently the Reddit has only just seen this today. As of writing this, so for the first time in my life, I'm actually ahead on the news. Here to be the messenger, you're watching This Week in SANDSTORM.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Let's get down to what we know. Now that that's out of the way. Okay, so basically on March 18th at some sort of DeviantArt type webpage, someone dropped this new poster and uniform image. Evidently he posted this at very least claiming to be the artist for the pieces. I won't get into whether or not this is some breach of contract or simple accident because frankly, well, nobody cares. And I presume this is literally like a couple of days away from getting fully announced regardless. The entry has since been deleted, but this is the internet. And as a general rule, anyone attempting to cover up information tends to turn it into the second coming of Rasputin, so naturally we have the screenshots. I presume this is literally like a couple of days away from getting fully announced regardless. Whether this was acquired publicly or someone just happened to be in some sort of private friends list and able to view this guy's account and sort of spread it around, I don't know. The first person to drop anything about it was this fellow on my Discord, loving the name by the way, so you should definitely go there and ask around if you really want answers. Link in the description below. Now, as far as speculation go, past Bane here, the obvious features being the prison map, which we've waited for since it's announced winning like March of last year, on top of some new headgear for the insurgents and the pictured cosmetic, which seems to be some sort of prison guard uniform. I assume these are free cosmetics, which you'll be able to acquire from playing something or else simply buying them after they're made available, because A, paid ones usually come with more stuff, more pieces, and B, if it was paid, it doesn't look Fortnite-y enough for me to believe that yet.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't.
But other than that, I think that was the worst take I've ever done in one of my videos. But other than that, there's really no sign of the community voted cosmetics, and though this head wrap certainly resembles the one from the winning entry art and is new, there's a very low likelihood that that's what it actually is. I wouldn't even be surprised if the community cosmetics don't even drop with this one. Keep in mind the submissions were open to them, but 0 people actually made entries that were any form of usable modeled asset that could be put into the game. So really, the people making this are certainly doing so from scratch with like one reference, and given the rate that NWI produces things with a team for a game with the kind of population that it has, I'm not holding my breath to see these. On top of the fact that the cosmetics contest was announced months after the prison map even won, I'm going to make the assumption that they were working on skins to drop with this map far before they even knew what was supposed to end up as the winner for the fan-made ones. All that being said, basically we are getting a new map that one of us presumably made, more on that later, and some free shit, so I'm not really going to get worked up if that's the largest extent of this update. Actual guns, or more specifically new ones, are nowhere to be seen in this teaser, but I'd give it a good likelihood we'll get some, ideally, preferably ones that are suited for the close quarters engagement heavy quarters of a map such as this one. Machine guns for gunners, that's what I meant. What were you gonna say? Now, you may be wondering, and I have too, exactly why it's taken so long to crank out an official update featuring an item that was already developed and playtested by the fans. And I gave it some thought, and in earnesty, I get tired of hearing the dribble and dumbassery of every commenter in ISMC showcase channel weeping, farting, shitting themselves because the devs won't just add ISMC or add all of the fan-made maps, as if you can magically integrate features developed by completely different individuals who aren't even really getting paid to do what they do into a game that has been produced and maintained by an entirely separate entity with professional developers in the actual industry, ignoring the entire concept of intellectual property and whether you'd have the legal rights to simply acquire ISMC and maps like this. The reality is content produced by fans doesn't even hold a candle to the content produced by paid professionals. I have seen footage of the winning maps in the contest. The vast majority look off and empty and missing just a little bit of that polish needed to really work as a map for this game. Assets are reused at a far higher rate. New assets are kind of just copied and pasted with too much uniformity or no good structure, not to mention the number of bugs that make even the work NWI does look rather mild. It should go without saying that any map which wins the contest would have to be effectively and completely, utterly scrubbed of any issues that might conflict with the programming the base game runs on, as well as fixing who knows how many rendering, texture, and physics errors that it's undoubtedly riddled with. In short, adding just everything players make that's even remotely well received in the modding community would be a massive plummet in the overall quality, and if anyone's still telling you that they could just add all the maps, there's a good chance they know even less about game making than I do. Let's not even think about what they're doing just to make this work on console, if that's an issue, or else the fact that they have to relight the entire map just to add night modes, which seems to be present given the very front and center NVGs and spotlights in the background. I'm happy to see this map. Whether or not it could or should have come out faster is beyond me, and though I'm sure the release date could be sooner, content generally gets spread out just to optimize the amount of time they have to fix the shit that's causing problems. After all, I feel it's been well demonstrated that just because you can drop something faster doesn't mean you should, but I digress. Ultimately, I can't wait as I haven't actually played any of the fan-made stuff, and in an ideal scenario, they didn't spend all that time reworking the actual layout of the thing, so it's as close to the original vision as possible. In terms of predictions, as far as the meaning of the poster, I would posit that this kind-looking fella here is almost certainly an insurgent VIP for maybe a new mode, or just on the flip side of the VIP mode that we already have, as the poster mirrors the VIP for the Operation Warlord poster. I seriously wish they just stopped trying to make shit that tries to portray even the slightest idea that there's some sort of narrative story with the character-looking people, while they've never even publicly demonstrated a desire to make a campaign since before the launch, and I can't imagine new players look at this and just assume that the game's just a strictly multiplayer experience that lacks anything resembling a story, much like Rainbow Six, despite what half the marketing would have you believe. The idea that games can sell themselves in a story that you can't actually play through is a tired genre at best and a failed experiment at worst. I'm really getting bored watching this shit. In earnest, it just looks like there's more going on and each update is somehow progressing some story, when in reality they're still trying to market to the 12-year-olds who think that edgy men wearing masks and with a scared eye has been cool at any point past the year 2008. Other than that, I really can't promote or knock any of the content that we've seen from this very limited glimpse into the game, but I really hope that this update featuring a rather large community built item will also keep the same community and what they want in mind. Until next time, when they actually show their hand rather than fumbling their cards all over the table or wearing reflective sunglasses, the most galaxy brain move possible, I'm 6Snipes, and this has been your week in SANDSTORM.